Be glad to. Y'all bow with me. Most gracious and heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this day you've given us, God. We ask that you be with this court today as we conduct today's business. Lord, we ask that you be with our first responders, be with Michael Bynum during his recovery, God. God, we ask that you be with our leaders during this most difficult time, Lord. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Just in case. All right, we'll go ahead and call Morris County Fiscal Court to order, March 1st, 2022. Under guests, Tim York. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm here today with my 2021 calendar year clerk settlement. And in 2021, we had receipts of $12,453,684.51, which was another record. I think we collected like 11 million. I think this is like 1.1 or 1.2 million dollars more than we collected last year. It's something anyway. It was a very busy year. Our disbursements are $12,300,676.66, and excess fees are $153,007.85. And Corey's got the check. I'm sure the check's already in the bank at this point because I gave the check last week. So, and I gave all y'all a copy of this. I'm sure y'all have all reviewed it by now. So all I need is a motion to approve this subject to audit.
Move we approve the clerk settlement, subject to audit.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank
And
you.
if I could take just 1 second, I wanted to tell you that a little bit about our plans for the election, since hopefully this year is going to be a normal year. And what we have planned on doing is opening all the precincts just like we did before COVID. One thing that will happen is this year we'll have to have early voting. We're required by statute to have early voting on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday before the election. We still don't know what those hours will be, and we're planning on having that at the Joe Creason Center because we just don't believe that we can do it here in the old fiscal courtroom. Don't think we're going to have enough space. They're going to require us to report by precinct, which means that everybody in the county can come to the Joe Creason Center and vote, but it means we've got to have 51 ballot faces so that if you're a Republican from West Calvert, we've got a ballot face for that precinct. If you're a Democrat from Ross, we've got a ballot for that precinct. So it's going to take more space just for that very reason. The other change that we will be having that I wanted you guys to be aware of, particularly you guys that are on the campaign trail, because a lot of people will probably be asking you, East Marshall, the fire department there was destroyed, and we're planning on temporarily having East Marshall vote at Brownsburg Church of Christ, which is where the Brownsburg precinct votes. They've got a large activity center there where we won't have any problem with room, and they've got a large parking lot. So I've talked to Tex, and Tex says that he expects that we will have a building in 2023 to go back to the fire department and vote. So
Tim, are you doing any signage in that area to let
we are going to, I'm planning on, after I find out how much it costs, I'm planning on sending a postcard to everybody in the East Marshall precinct to let them know where their voting location is. So, but other than that, everybody should be voting at their precinct and will be required to vote at their precinct on election day. You can't vote anywhere else, just like election in 2019. All right, appreciate
So,
you
let
guys.
me hang on.
Oh.
So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but then Monday is off.
Monday's
It is
off,
no.
yes.
Yeah, right. Okay. So, and
you
then
can
Tuesday,
still get
obviously.
a mail-in absentee. You still have to meet the same requirements. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, anybody can vote. There are no requirements. There is no, well, I'm going to be out of town or anything like that.
Right.
Anybody can vote on those 3 days.
Will there be a sign put up at the fire department or anything for somebody that goes through their mail and,
Yeah, I guess maybe we ought to put something up there at that, because I think they've already torn it down, haven't they? I think it's just a vacant lot now, but maybe we'll put something up there if we can figure out some way to rig something up to tell them where to go. Hopefully, if we send out notices and if we get this on social media and all you guys that are out knocking on doors, hopefully we'll capture a lot of people that want to vote, but there's always somebody that's not aware. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
thank you.
Hey, Tim, having your vault records online, I think, is a very popular move.
Oh, is it? Well, and that's
It
another
is.
thing that you guys
Yes.
funded a lot of that. My excess fees last year, you gave me back $90,000 and we started that project early. We've still got a lot to do down there. And we got a $16,000 grant from the Library and Archives last year that assisted with some of that work that we did. There's still a lot to do, but I think that what we've done was the most critical part of it, was trying to get most of the deeds, and we're hopefully by this time next year, every deed that's ever been written in Marshall County is going to be digitized and indexed. And
What about the wills?
wills, I haven't even started on wills yet. I'm planning on marriage license. I want to get marriage license done this year. I'm trying not to do a lot this year because there's movement in the legislature to require us to do some other things, and with that requirement supposedly is coming some money.
Yeah.
So I'm trying not to do much this year. I'm planning on trying to do marriage license this year. We have a lot of people, if you want a real ID, you have to have a copy of your marriage license, and some of these people that are older, I think our marriage license don't go back very far. So that's my focus this year. After that, it'll be the new clerk. We'll have to be concerned about that, but I believe there will be some fun. I talked about Department of Library and Archives. There's a bill in the legislature that's going to require, we've had a lot of trouble with the Department of Library and Archives not wanting to give funding to county clerks, and there's a bill in the legislature that will require the Department of Library and Archives to set aside 90% of that money, which all of their money is collected in the vault anyway. Set aside 90% of that for county clerks' usage to assist with this, getting all these records digitized, because it's a big deal in the legislature. And then there's supposedly going to be some Kentucky general fund money that is put in there that's going to be available. But like everything else, they're going to prioritize those people that haven't done a single thing, that have just kind of sat here and said, well, maybe we'll do it someday. So they're going to prioritize those people, but we hope that we hope next year in 2023 that Chrissy will be able to maybe get some of that money to start on some of these other projects.
I think it was $25 million, isn't it, in that bill?
Yeah, it may be.
377, I think, HB 3.
And
It's through
how they
the
distribute it
committee,
is-
but yeah.
Yeah, it will be the devil's always in the details. but-
Send them where we've already paid and where we could get some of that money
Right.
back, yeah.
Now, anybody else before I try to walk away again?
Thanks,
Thank
Tim.
you.
Thanks, Tim. Laurel, morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. I think I'm talking about general debris cleanup, general disaster activity.
Yes.
Okay,
What do you-
I think. Debris deadline is March 10th. That hasn't changed. Same as what we talked about last time. Get it to the right-of-way, get it to the curb by March 10th. Our private property debris removal on the three private roads that we talked about last fiscal court was approved by FEMA. We were the first PPDR, private property debris removal, even though it's private roads. We really didn't go on private property, but it's still considered a PPDR, private roads project. Was the first one approved for this disaster. So once again, good job, Marshall County, for getting out ahead and getting it done.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Can I ask a
Thank you.
debris
Yes,
or maybe a comment so that those that are out there watching, I had a couple of questions about concrete and Roy,
yeah,
I think,
okay.
answered those, but we
Okay.
are still,
We're
So
picking up
The
concrete.
policy is concrete foundations are not eligible. Every disaster, usually, we get disaster-specific guidance that says, hey, that policy, we're going to allow it on this disaster. I've asked 3 times on this disaster, hey, are we going to have disaster-specific guidance that allows us to pick up concrete foundations? And I've been told no. And I said, but it's a health and safety issue because it's the right-of-way. And they said, well, if you would tell the volunteers not to put it at the right-of-way, it wouldn't be a health and safety issue. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, I'll do that. So officially, if it is a concrete foundation, it's not eligible for FEMA reimbursement. So is there concrete that is not foundations? Yes. Is that eligible? Yes. So if the debris hauler and debris monitor can clearly see that is a concrete foundation, that we're marking those on the tickets, we will still ask for that to be reimbursable. However, if it's not, then the county will pay for that because it is a health and safety issue, and we'll go back and forth with them a few times, and they might win, we might win. Don't know. It's fun.
I think and this is just my opinion, because Laura and I, we had talked about this, if it's going to be approved, if it's not going to be approved. In my opinion, the county should cover the foundation regardless. If we submit and it's approved, then it's approved. If it's not, the process that they use to break out all the material, debris tech, I mean, it's calculated. We can actually see.
Yeah, we can pull out those tickets.
So, and if that needs to be an actionable item by the court, then
we
I
may
would
want to do
suggest we
that,
do
yeah.
that. I don't know if we're getting the cart in front of the horse on that, but with FEMA. But as far as I know I have talked to Roy, and my opinion was pick it up because they're moving it out to the side,
Right.
right of ways. We're going to pick it up. I've talked to landfill. They're moving. They're not having any issues. So that would be my suggestion.
Yeah, so does the fiscal court want to take a vote or a resolution to pick it up
does it make
regardless
us
of
look worse
reimbursement?
to FEMA if we say we're going to pay for it if they don't?
No.
Okay, then I
All the
move that
FEMA
we.
people watching.
Yeah, I'm sure they're concerned about what I think. Anyway, I move that we pick up all concrete, just like any other.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
But please, FEMA, pay for it.
Yeah.
I think that you have a health and safety issue by having that concrete at the right-of-way. 1, visibility. 2, you have an impaired right-of-way. And 3, like, what if a kid's waiting for the school bus and, it's just, to me, those are things that keep me up at night of my debris dreams.
Yeah, and we're getting ready to be discussing bids here pretty soon, and if we go out and we've got structural engineers going out saying that slab is not structurally sound, I mean, who's to say that because of this disaster, it didn't cause that?
Correct, yep.
And so that's not going to be very palatable to folks.
Right,
If
yeah.
we're not picking it up, so.
Right, and you have a really great contract right now with your debris contractor, which was way less than industry average and that we initially estimated. So you have this contract vehicle that you can use right now. We're flagging those tickets so that if we need to pull them out from FEMA, some that are obviously not eligible, say they're in front of a business, we're pulling those out as separate tickets anyway, so that they're never even going to be submitted to FEMA. Like, we have to show FEMA that we're policing ourselves, so we'll do that. But the ones that, if it's concrete, if it's a concrete wall, yes, that's eligible. But if it's a concrete foundation, as of today, it's not strictly eligible. Tomorrow may be a different story.
And I talked to Jerry, and he said that they can identify.
Yeah, we can
and they
identify
tag
from the
it.
pictures, from the debris monitors are marking those tickets. But I lost my train of thought there, but you have a killer contract right now.
Yes.
So if you don't pick it up with this great price right now, and you leave it there, you're gonna be paying quadruple, quintuple, later on this summer when you realize, oh, shoot, we should have picked that
And
concrete.
those prices are out there.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
So is that date still valid even for that then?
Yeah.
Ooh, so,
Yeah, we're
So, I
sticking with
mean,
the March 10th,
we-
yeah.
Still gotta
everything that we can get to the
get it
right of way,
done.
yeah.
In the next couple
We
weeks? Or,
have, I think we have
I don't even know. what
6
today
weeks now that if we figure out that we need to do some private property debris removal for some reason, we can submit that application, but I don't think that they're gonna cover concrete slab. Oh, I know that they're not going to cover concrete slabs with that. So if there's concrete slabs that need to be brought to the curb and, there's not any FEMA money right now to pick it up once it's at the curb, but also to get it to the curb. That's just not something that's done.
Yeah.
So volunteer groups or private contractors paid by the homeowner. Okay, so the next thing we have is not debris. This is structural assessments. So there is a FEMA program. It's a Category G of the Public Assistance Program called the 1206 program that pays for building assessment and substantial damage costs. So within this county, we have building codes that require structural assessments. If the homeowner does not have a structural assessment that's paid for by their insurance, and they have damage from the tornado, it's possible, probable, not guaranteed, that FEMA will reimburse it through this 1206 Cat G program. So we put out procurement for design professionals to respond so that they could be in the pool of design professionals to be selected for the structural assessment. This morning we received 3 responses. All appear to be experienced structural assessment engineers that have worked in the area. I think you have you have the proposals. They're HDC, Chastain, and archaeology. So our next step within that program is, once you accept these, so this would be a pool of design professionals. We're still working out the particulars of the program. Casey and I had a call with both the FEMA Program Delivery Manager and the FEMA PA 1206 Program Specialist today, and they are both working very hard to have this be the first 1206 grant approved in this disaster. But being the first means, they're gonna figure it out as they work through our project. So we don't know exactly what all needs to be done, but we're working through it. But the first thing I think we need is to approve these 3 responses, these 3 requests for qualifications into the pool. I upload those into the grant program. We kind of do a cost estimate per each one, and then residents would sign up through the county building code office. Is that the official title? The building through Casey?
Yeah.
And
that'll work.
they will have to fill out short questionnaire and also state that their structural assessment was not covered by insurance. FEMA is if it's covered by another program, FEMA's not going to reimburse it.
Right.
So we are pushing, and we got approval, as I understand, all the way from FEMA region in Atlanta, that they will push this project, this grant, through as an estimate, meaning then the fiscal court can see that this is going to be a reimbursable program, meaning they'll approve it. It'll be an approved grant. We still won't get the funding until we make the expenses, so it would still be something that you would potentially put against your line of credit. But they are looking at fast-tracking this grant for us, one, because it's the first one in this disaster, and two, because we have a great FEMA program delivery manager, a great FEMA liaison. So I think what I'm asking, and maybe it's not mine, maybe it's yours, to approve these three and continue on the process, the program with the structural assessment grant.
Yep. Just like we did with the bids, when we did our annual bids, it'd be best, I believe, to just go ahead and approve all three of these bids. And then as we work through the building inspection office, they can work with these engineers.
And it's possible that we will need all three because we have a very short time frame. We're down to about 3.5 months to get all of these done, and it could be that we have as many as 200. Could be we have
Right.
a lot less, depending on just really who signs up and who's eligible.
I'll move we approve all three, which is Chastain, HDC, and Archaeology.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And then, if you will, just to update the court on the SAFE
Oh, and the safe.
funds,
Yeah.
I've got it, if you don't have it in front of you,
So
what we requested.
I don't have it in front of me. I think we requested for the local share and the advance funding for the debris, for the damages to the asphalt roads, and possibly for the portion of these structural assessments. Is that what was the final?
Yeah.
So this is the state funding. And I don't know when this funding's gonna come. So
And-
you know as much as I do, and every day it's a
Yeah.
roller coaster.
And let's clear this up
Yeah.
for us too, because I know someone that's here today actually had this question for me, or has heard this kind of talk out in the community. That SAFE money is money that goes to either counties or, local government, cities, school system stuff. That is not money that goes to individuals.
Not that I'm aware
It
of.
comes to us to be able to do
Right.
stuff for our individuals, but
This is with the application, and I'll just read that way.
Okay.
This is the application, request for funds from the West Kentucky State Aid Funding for Emergencies, which is SAFE. The requirements, Kentucky regions that qualify to receive funds must be located in the areas named in a presidential declaration of emergency relating to the storms and tornadoes that occurred in December 2021, and have disaster-related needs in response to the storms and tornadoes that occurred in December 2021. Eligible applicants, this will hit yours, Monty: a city, county, urban county government, consolidated local government, unified local government, or a charter county government, nonprofit or public utility service provider, state agency, or school district. Requirements to access dollars from the fund: where applicable, applicant must timely apply for federal emergency disaster grant assistance, other financial disaster assistance, and insurance proceeds if available. Applicant must adhere to the terms of the fund regarding reimbursement to the Commonwealth if funds from other sources are subsequently received after the receipt of financial assistance from the state. If a recipient of monies from the fund subsequently receives monies from any other source, the recipients shall reimburse the Commonwealth for the amount of the monies received from the funds. So that's what we were talking about. All monies reimbursed to the Commonwealth shall be deposited in the general fund within 30 days. Application may be completed by eligible applicants, designated emergency contact with approval and signature of the chief local government officer of the applicant or the head of a nonprofit or public utility service provider. Purpose of fund: Monies in the fund are allocated as a forgivable loan or a grant to be used in accordance with House Bill 5, 2022, Kentucky Acts Chapter 2, Section 4. Application shall be submitted to the Department of Military Affairs Division of Emergency Management. So that's the official, and we did.
And we put in for roads.
We put in for
Right,
the items that we
but-
know are not going to be covered by FEMA, plus some advanced funding, perhaps on the debris, because
Okay.
it was such a large.
Yeah.
Now, it's not, that was our initial application, and then we'll put in additional for the local share for our 404 mitigation grants, because we're allowed to make supplemental applications. So when they sent it out, they said, "What do you need right now?" I'm like, well, everything, but, that wasn't an acceptable answer.
So is that KIA or DLG? Who is
So it's state
Well,
who's
legislature.
the authority?
It's an interesting,
Yeah, I know.
KYM is giving the money out, but DLG is maybe taking the money back later. It will be an interesting reconciliation that I don't know
Yeah.
how they're going to do without a database.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
PS,
I
ER
mean,
sells database.
we're submitting the application to the Department of
Right.
To
Military
DIP.
Affairs.
To who?
To KYM, Department of Military Affairs.
Interesting. Okay. All right. But, and the point, I guess, one of the points trying to make within that is through House Bill 5, through the legislature. That is not the Team West Kentucky or whatever
that was-
that the governor had set up. That is totally
That's-
separate of that. That
Are you
is-
talking about the donated money?
Yeah.
Now, this has been, with that discussion around February 8th. I think the dollar amount was 42 million.
Yeah.
And about 2.5 million had been at that time
Dispersed.
dispersed.
How are those allocations determined?
There's a lot of questions on that.
Yeah.
But I believe, that's at the governor's
Yeah, I
discretion. That's
Yeah.
what I'm being told. So there's several million that is available. How they're going to be dispersed,
Yeah.
how you qualify to put in for that.
And is it
Qualifies.
individuals on that particular one versus
Yeah, so
government entities?
So
you
for an
know?
example, the community fund, as we've talked last court meeting, just like the association that donated, those monies don't come to the fiscal court.
Right.
But we have access to them through the community fund. There's a subcommittee, there's a process, so there's a vetting system for the projects. And they obviously state that you have to go through, that's why we extended the deadline for FEMA and SBA, that folks have to go through that process. And that, at the local level, at our level, with the community fund, that's the process to get access to some of those dollars.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would expect, as a disaster grant consultant, I would expect that any money raised at a state level, or at a nonprofit level statewide, would go through long-term recovery groups, or there are, I guess the concert a couple of weeks ago went for a specific VOAD, but I just don't know about this one being
How is the
associated.
2 million that's already been given, who's it been given to? Do we
Don't know. I don't know.
And that 2 million is across all of the 12 counties too.
Yeah.
That's not us. I think the point is that we have not, the county has not had an influx of money
No.
that we're just sitting on,
No.
waiting to give out to people.
Correct.
That
That
is the
that's-
point. And that safe funding, albeit I appreciate that, that is not for individuals. It
It's
is to
not for
come to us to
yes.
be able to
Yeah.
build back these roads, whatever infrastructure has been,
So
or
if
our
individuals
share.
are looking for this cash, the best way is to register with the long-term recovery.
group.
Yeah, correct, with the long-term recovery group, because that would be the most transparent, or that would be the traditional way it would be dispersed. If there are state funds or nonprofit funds that are being dispersed to individuals, that will be,
Yeah.
I'll use the word interesting.
Yeah.
Which, regarding the long-term recovery group, that they're meeting March 8th here. Jason got some bylaw examples and reviewed it, so they've got some bylaws. And then the next step is to elect the board members.
So the next long-term recovery meeting is March 8th in this courtroom?
Yes,
Okay.
4 p.m.
4 p.m.
Yes.
Great.
Yep.
And that is open,
Yes.
open
And
meeting, so
that
if people are
is that
interested.
transition, you know, to where, as Laura was saying, that long-term recovery group, that's where your case management is. That's where your, even to some degree, the VOAD, or the volunteer coordination, takes place.
Right, and when I say transparency, it's not like it gets published in, you know,
Yeah.
on the internet, but it follows a process. And so there's, donors can feel confident that the proper steps have been followed.
Yes. And that's a great piece to what we witnessed back early February. The community fund, there are philanthropists, there are donors out there that do this routinely, but they want to make sure that their monies are, some of them have special requirements.
Right.
And so the long-term recovery group can facilitate that. And it's a process. I like to use, we're as fast as our slowest runner. And we work through that process to get where we are. I spoke with some folks who are interested, and I said, look, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, we don't give up local control. This is a disaster in our community, and we maintain that control. We get the assistance from the federal agencies and the state agencies, but this is an issue that's affected us locally. So anyways.
So that's debris, our debris, structural assessments, FEMA funding, unknown state funding. It's coming sometime.
We have a Northern Kentucky group
Oh, yes.
coming down.
VOAD groups, volunteer organizations active in disasters. That's what I mean by VOAD.
And because I know, I'm sure you guys there's a lot of discussion and scuttlebutt, as we use the military term, but we had a lot of donations, and where some of these donations have been impactful, the Northern Kentucky group that's coming down, they're not like Christian ministries. They're not going to be building the house from the ground up, but they will go out and they've identified survivors who just need repairs. And so we had tools. This group has got access to a lot of stuff that had been donated to the community, and we've got most of it housed with the road department. But they will be coming into our community. I think the last, how many, you know, off the top of your head, Corey, how many? Was it 8 or 16 homes? And we got groups that come in all the time.
These are the folks that
17.
were here a few weeks ago assessing, and
Yes.
now they're coming back
Yeah, so they're coming
in the
back,
next
and
week or so.
yeah, so they have teams. So their first
Oh, okay.
team's coming in next week, and they'll be utilized. That's stuff that they didn't have to go out and purchase, so they'll be using those tools and equipment to go out and do repairs on some of the structures. And then we have the actual VOAG groups like Christian Aid Ministries and whatnot. They build from the ground up, and they work through the long-term recovery group. So
And
lots
we-
going on.
And we did have a very productive meeting, I think, with Christian Aid Ministries, looking at possibly setting up a group here November to March, and they would build, if we were able to get them to come here, it would be, I
Right.
think, 9 to 13 homes from the ground up that they would be able to build. But building material prices are increasing, so as we, maybe next fiscal quarter, the one after that, we have to look at how how to help the
Help
long-term
with that.
recovery group with building materials. Maybe it's a structure that could house donated building materials.
Yep.
How many contractors have we had sign up, do you know, through your office? Do we know? 80? Wow. Okay, that's good.
80, and still no one can find a contractor to do work.
They're
Yeah.
somewhere out there.
Right,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
we're gonna put.
Well, I'm
tractors
amazed.
around.
I was out at Cambridge Shores yesterday, and just the difference in the last couple of weeks is incredible.
Isn't
Looking
that
across to
amazing?
Sherwood, and there's probably 4 trees if I'm looking over there after Sut, but on around there. I mean, it's unbelievable how much cleanup has been done on that.
And it couldn't be a fiscal court if I didn't address, again, living lands and
Yeah.
waters. And are you guys seeing the lake recovery happening
Yes.
and hopeful for the economic recovery that
Yep.
Yes.
spring break and forward will?
I
Okay.
spoke to Elena with tourism, and that they're ecstatic.
Is there any hot spots that we need to have them identify? Because they will do it.
Yes.
Just let me know and I'll send them a text.
Yeah.
They are doing an incredible job.
Yeah, I
unbelievable.
mean, how lucky, yeah. Okay, well, anything more for me?
I just want to thank you for your prompt responses. I've had a few questions along the way, and I appreciate the job you're doing.
Well, thank you for saying that, even though one time it took me like a whole day to respond, but
It was just one day, I understand.
Okay,
I second that too. I called you the other day, within an hour, you had it taken care of, and I appreciate that. So.
thank you. I'm gonna get that for my commercial.
I guess I'm going to have to say the same thing now at this point. Laurel, you're
It's
doing
your
a
turn.
great job.
Thank
Don't forget your Tater Day float.
Yeah.
The,
I'm
Yeah,
holding
there's
you to
there's
it.
T-shirts. You can buy a T-shirt at Rogalinski's down the road.
she's
Maybe
gonna be
we should
moving.
chip in and buy her a Tater Day T-shirt.
T-shirt.
Can we do that? I don't know.
You haven't
Legally.
called me or sent me an email in like 3 weeks, and that's, to me, that's
Well,
great.
guess what? I got 2 coming your way.
That tells me you're doing a great job.
No, but mutual aid's coming your way, and we're going to need your help on some language on the structural assessment for the homeowners to say it wasn't covered by
Spoke
insurance.
too soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we spoke
Yeah.
too
Like-
soon.
Laurel is going to be moving her operations up here in the ELC downstairs.
Yeah, I was at the new 911, and now I'm at the EOC downstairs.
All right.
All right, so that's where you
Thank
can find
you.
me.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thanks.
All right, old business, approve the minutes, February 15th and the 18th emergency meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll go on the new business. The Marsh County State Audit for, you didn't print- did they have it on there? Okay. To receive the state audit.
Move we receive it. Accept it.
Accept it.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item B, mowing bids. Just to advertise the mowing bids. We're getting into
So
that
moved.
time of the year.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item C, jailers training incentive. February 15th, Mr. Roger Ford, congratulations on the completion of your 40-hour training unit for calendar year 2021 pursuant to KRS 64-52756. You're required to be paid an annual incentive per calendar year for each training unit completed up to a maximum of 4 incentive payments. The value of an incentive payment for 2021 is $1,093.24. Our records show that you have successfully completed 4 units and are due 4 incentive payments of $1,093.24 for a total of $4,372.96. Please make this disbursing officer aware that incentive payments are not exempt from state or federal withholding requirements.
Move we approve.
Second,
Second.
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item D, B, occupational net profit return due to extension. I was going to read the email. This was from Erica, who's on maternity leave. The IRS has extended the individual and business tax return deadline for people, entities in Illinois, Kentucky, and Tennessee who were affected by the natural disasters in December. The IRS tax filing extension moves the due date from April 18th to the new due date of May 16th, 2022, and is automatic for all individuals in these areas. I've already been tasked, or I have already contacted to ask if Marshall County will be moving the due date for occupational license fee net profit return to match the federal dates for individual and business tax yearly returns. This requires court action to happen if the court wishes to pursue. Since the new date is within the same fiscal year as the original date and is not excessively far out from the original date, I do not see a financial issue extending it if that is a court's decision.
I move, we move it to match the federal guideline of May 16th, 2022.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item E, transfers.
Okay, I have a bunch of transfers. The first one is to move $33,202.30 from the Economic Development Director's salary, and that is to cover that 7% COLA increase for the judge, the sheriff, and the jailer. So I'll be moving that into those lines. It also covers the economic development contract that we entered into. And then I would like to move $39,661.93 from the general fund investments to capital projects to cover the Jonathan Creek project. And then move $20,000 from the jail maintenance salary to the jail cleaning supplies and the jail building maintenance and repairs, and Roger requested that.
Questions?
I move we approve the transfer.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
And then I have a bank transfer. I need to move $5,609.71 from the general fund checking to the jail fund, and that's to cover that 7% for Roger. I also need to move $39,661.93 from the general fund savings to the general fund checking, and that's to cover the capital projects.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item F, is there any reason to deny payment of the bills or claims? Hearing none, let the clerk record that the bills, claims are to be paid. At this time, we need to go into executive session for litigation.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We'll go ahead and entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.